What's up, everybody, and welcome to Podcasting with Power. It is post-Christmas, wherever you are. Not for us, though. We're stuck in the past. I'm Zachary Davis. That's Drunk Carlson. We're going to talk some Nintendo with you today. I'd ask you how you were, but it doesn't matter because you already talked about that last week. Because this is a pre-recorded episode for the holiday. If you heard last week's episode, you know how Jordan's doing. You know how I'm doing.
We should have changed our shirts.
I thought about it. I thought about bringing another
dude, you should have. We could have done it. I would have done it. We could have pretended.
I'll do it in post digitally. I won't do that.
Damn, look at us.
We, again, at like the last pre-record episode we did around Thanksgiving, we have not played anything since the last episode. So what do you want to get into? I know we talked about this for winter games because that was the topic, but what is, if there's one game staring you in the face this holiday season, these next couple weeks, what is it?
One game staring at me in the face.
Yeah.
That it wants me to play it.
Play me.
Play me.
Play me, please.
Oh, man. Honestly, dude, it really just is the Octopath Traveler situation. That's the only game that's really calling my name right now. But the thing is that early next year, I have a lot coming, and so do you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, we both have Resident Evil. Reanimal is going to be Jan Feb. And then there's an Adventures of Elliot or whatever. I think, right? We think that's early next year.
I do. I think it's Adventures of Elliot. I think. I don't know. We need to know because I feel bad making fun of this game because it does actually look pretty cool.
I mean, the demo was a riot. I am genuinely excited for it. But if I'm being honest with you, Resident Evil probably takes my number one spot for excitement for early next year. Number two, and I'm going to tell you, is a close number two, like really close, is Reanimal. I've been stoked on Reanimal for months, so I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. The title of this game is The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales.
Do you remember the trailer was like something
poorly
wild?
Narrated. Yeah.
We thought it was like a really wild name, and then it was just The Adventures of Elliot.
I was like, oh, what's this going to be? I don't see anything about early 2026 for this game. I just see 2026, so I don't know when we're getting.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that, but
you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
But yeah, we'll have to do an episode early in the year, kind of previewing the games we know about, coming in 2026. But that is not necessarily today. We are going to talk predictions, things we think will happen next year.
Yes.
And we're going to get to that in just a minute. But I'm going to do a little housekeeping to take us over there. Podcasting with Power is an independent podcast made by the two of us, and your support goes a long way. You can watch PWP on YouTube and Spotify, or listen on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Wherever you are, we'd really appreciate if you would follow, like, comment on, or review the show. You can also keep up with us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and more at Pod with Power. We post show updates, clips, and anything else we think you might find interesting. So check that out and help support the show. As a pre-record, we don't really have any Nintendo news this week. I do have a game coming out December 30th called Adventure Reborn for the Switch 1. I don't know anything else about it. That's it. But you mentioned wanting to talk about something in this section of the show. So I am curious what that is. I don't know what it is.
So, according to Bloomberg,
Okay,
Nintendo has asked all suppliers to produce up to 25 million units of the Switch 2 by end of month March.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So that is a crazy number of Switches.
It is a crazy number.
So now I'm wondering, because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, where is the anticipation going? Why the push? Why? So end of month March, obviously, we know we're headed into, we're talking Q1 right here,
Yeah.
So what is the push? What are we anticipating happening? Because when we're talking about a game lineup right now, confirmed game wise, I'm thinking we got Mario Tennis, Fever, whatever that was, Tamagotchi Life, Yoshi and the Weird Book. I don't know what that was.
Okay. Yeah. Mysterious Yoshi Story 2.
Yoshi's Story and their
Yoshi's Other
Story.
Story.
And I know I'm missing a couple like
Fire Emblem and yeah.
Fire
Splatoon
Emblem.
Raiders. Yeah.
Yep. So, and I'm just like, these aren't crazy titles. These aren't like, these titles I don't think are moving units the way that other games would. You know, it's not like a Mario Kart. It's not like a 3D Mario, you know. So I'm just wondering, what is it that we're going to learn about or that we're going to hear about that we need to be geared up for that kind of expectation for the end of Q1? So that's kind of where I want to kind of set the tone of what I'm thinking for some of these predictions for the stage to be set like that for Nintendo.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting way to frame it, and something I should have looked into when I was writing down predictions for this episode. I didn't really do that. I don't know. A lot of tech right now is there's a lot of demand and prices are rising. I know, RAM is a big one right now, but they might be just trying to get ahead of as much of those like production costs, rising as they can right now. But you're right. They might have some big things in their pocket that they know will do very well. I mean, I'll mention it because I don't have a prediction around it, but we've talked about Generation 10 of Pokemon. The 30th anniversary of Pokemon is next year. And if that is a Switch to exclusive game, which I think we were in agreement that it probably would be, that's going to move units more than almost anything else Nintendo's got.
100%. And should we start getting into what some of these could be?
Yeah. So just a little preface. We each came with 5 predictions. I have some extra ones in case you take some of mine they're not as good, but I figured I should write something down in the event that some of yours overlap. But so we each have 5 predictions, and let's just jump right in. These are things we think will happen surrounding Nintendo in 2026. So Jordan, you are itching to tell us one. So let's start with you.
I am, and I apologize for making us dive in so heavily right away.
That's all right.
I just feel like the segue is so perfect. I can't help myself.
All right.
So Pokemon's 30th anniversary.
Yes.
What is at the end of February? Pokemon Day.
Yeah.
February 27th.
What are we getting? On Pokemon Day?
I think we're going to learn something, Zach.
Well, I think...
Big. I think we're going to learn something big. And I think that... So this aligns perfectly, which, let's just throw this out there, too. We are both pretty familiar with how business works.
Sure.
We understand that companies like Analog or companies like Nintendo or Cracked with their Nitro deck, they love to stack themselves up and position themselves nicely to either end the year with some nice big numbers or end the quarter with some nice big numbers.
Yeah. So
stacking yourself up to do something by the end of March for a company like Nitro Deck, okay, fine. That makes good sense. Yep. You want to have good earnings, something to report. So when we talk about in the last episode, Nitro Deck staging themselves to, I think it said those start to ship March. I think next year is what it said.
Okay. I wasn't sure on the date, but okay. Yeah.
That's right. No, actually, that was an item we were talking about. We weren't sure. I looked into it and I forgot to bring it up.
I was like, wow, you've learned that in the last hour.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming in March. So that's nice.
We won't be receiving them till around March. But I feel like Pokemon Day next year, we saw is it still last year right now in this episode?
Yeah, it's still last year. Still 2025.
Yeah, still 2020. We learned a lot or heard a lot about maybe what the future of Pokemon looks like, and I think we're going to learn exactly what that is in February. And I have this big feeling that it's gonna be Switch to exclusive. And we're going to need some Switches to support it. Maybe there's going to be, because there's been a couple of leaks. Maybe it's a big Pokemon announcement. Maybe we do get something right away. And then we're promised this big, nice thing later in the year. maybe there's something that carries us there. I think we might be in for more Pokemon news next year than maybe we're prepared for. That's just my hunch.
So, so you brought up a really good point. So Nintendo's fiscal year is kind of offset. So they will end March 31st. Pokopia comes out, I think, March 5th. So you're getting some Pokemon kind of right there at the end, but I don't think it's beyond, the realm of possibility that we do get some sort of shadow drop on Pokemon Day.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas what that is?
I wonder. So I don't want to dabble too hard into one because it's in part of my other predictions.
Okay.
But I think we're in for a treat, and I think it could be centered around the I always forget what to call it, the classics.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I think there could be something there. And I don't know quite what it is because we already got the Legends release, obviously.
Yep.
So the next one is obviously going to be the big one. The big ones. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I know what the Pokemon Day release itself would be because they would have had to have been working on it for quite some time. So I have a feeling it's something related to the classics. I think that's really the only place I could go with it.
So I don't remember exactly how the original games rolled out on the 3DS Virtual Console. You remember that? I don't remember. I feel like that was a Pokemon Day announcement, not a Nintendo Direct announcement. And I do feel like it was, I don't know if it was same day or not, but it was close. I don't know, because I remember watching it and being very excited about that.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how that all panned out. If, let's say, they do this, how far do they go? Is it just red, blue, and yellow? Is it Generation 2? Is it Generation 3? How deep are we going?
I think we're going deep.
Okay.
I think we're going deep, and I think we're gonna be treading into. Okay. I'm not gonna get into what one of my other predictions is, but
okay.
here's another area that I didn't write down that I think we could take this in.
Okay.
I think we could be seeing some remakes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think we're going to see something different with Pokemon. And I think it's going to come in the form of an older game. Maybe it's red, blue, or yellow. I don't know. Maybe it is.
Sure.
But we're going to see one of the Game Boy era. And by Game Boy era, I mean literal Game Boy to DS, somewhere in that space. We're going to see a remake, and it's going to be reimagined into a new style. That's what I think.
Okay. I mean, the dream for me would be a Let's Go game in Johto, in Gold and Silver.
Incredible.
That's the dream. I really liked Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Yeah.
I know that's not necessarily a fan favorite, but I do. They sold decently well, and I thought they were great games. So yeah, I would like to see my favorite generation of Pokemon adapted into that style. That'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, I even really loved Brilliant Diamond and Pearl.
I need to go back to that. I know people kind of hated on that one too, but because the art style and it was kind of a pretty straight remake compared to
the art style.
Some of the other. But yeah, same thing. I have played Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, and this is a different game to me. So I'm let it do its thing.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think we have a big year for Pokemon next year, and I don't think we'll hear anything about it obviously until Pokemon Day. But something's coming.
So classics.
I think it's gonna move some switches, or it's gonna it's gonna make people want to get a Switch.
Now let's get this. Do you, with those classics, are they in the NSO Classics app, part of the subscription, or are you buying those a la carte?
I'm thinking the remake that I'm mentioning will be a la carte. It'll just be its own thing. The classics, though, like you said, and they're asking about, I think it's going to be it'll be involved in the classics. Yeah,
I would hope so. It's Nintendo. They do some weird things.
Yeah.
I would hope they're not separate, purchases, but you never know.
That would be wild if they did that.
And then I don't know if this steps on one of your other predictions or not, but as far as a new Pokemon, Gen 10, how much of that do we see? Usually they like to show us starters and that kind of stuff.
Well, so I think it's going to be winds and waves. I think they're going to do that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling.
I do think that's real. I do.
I do. So I think winds and waves is going to be the announcement. And I wonder, I don't know, man. Nintendo is so hard to predict with this sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, because part of me is like, they're going to show the exact screenshots or we're going to see what we saw already.
Sure.
Or they're going to be like, we can't show that. We're going to show something.
That's
like, fair. It's almost like they're spitefully either going to show us like just enough.
Exactly the same.
So that we know. Yeah, dude, if they go exact, like I could see them doing the exact so we don't get anything else. Like they're just like, you saw it already. Fine. Fuck you. It is that. And that's all you get now, you know? Or they're going to be like, they're not going to show us hardly anything, just enough. They're going to let us look through a little pinhole to say, yep,
sure,
you're right. We're confirming it, but you get nothing else, you know, like,
okay.
I think that's going to be the way of it. But yeah, starters though, I feel like in the least we have to get starters at least.
Yeah.
You know,
I would love if we broke from the fire, water, grass triangle, but I don't think that will happen.
Where would we go, do you think, if not fire, water, grass?
I've always liked the like psychic fighting dark would be another similar, you know.
Interesting.
If they wanted to mix it up, but I don't know. There's, you know, there are options, but I kind of think that they're gonna stick with that forever. So
why haven't we gotten a canon Team Rocket game? Why can't I be Team Rocket? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why can't I choose to be bad and steal Pokemon? And
you kind of do that in Pokemon Coliseum, which should come to Switch Online any day now. It was announced, you know, initially, but you are stealing. You're stealing from bad people. You're a reformed criminal.
That's true.
But yeah. So you got that. But yeah, I am very much in agreement with you. I think we got a big Pokemon year ahead of us. And I think everything you said sounds like it could happen.
Nice. There's a second piece to the Pokemon wave, but I'm gonna save that for one of my other items here.
Okay. Then I'm gonna dive into my first one here. A little similar, but in a different direction. So I believe 2026 will be a Metroid year. It's the 40th anniversary of the series. This has nothing to do with me being a fan of it. This is just I think the time's right.
For sure.
It did, yeah. But the time is right for some sort of 2D entry in the series. Nintendo, I think, is pretty happy with their relationship with Mercury Steam after Samus Returns and Dread. And I think they have been co-developing another title with Nintendo EPD. And I think it could come in one of three ways. I think it's either going to be an HD port of Samus Returns. This came out after the Switch did, but it's been locked on the 3DS ever since. And you know, Nintendo's looking at the 3DS for ports. We got Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. There's another one that I'm gonna talk about a little later, so I won't bring that up now. But I think obviously they're looking at that platform as games they can bring to the Switch.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the lowest effort option if they wanted to do a 2D Metroid next year. Second would be a remake of either Super or Fusion. I kind of lean towards Super because it's, you know, it's the big one in the series for a lot of people. And I think you tell people it's on Nintendo Classics and they go, well, but that game is from 1990, you know, 3 or 4, whatever it is. I don't want to play that. And so I think maybe, revamping it, putting a nice coat of paint on it will make it a little more appealing. And then the third option, of course, is a new entry that continues after Dread, kind of builds off that story and how fluid it all is. And then I think either way, both Dread and Prime Remastered will receive Switch 2 updates, boosting resolution, adding 120 FPS modes, and in the case of Prime Remastered, mouse controls. So I think we're getting some Metroid next year.
Okay. I like that. I think that's fun. I mean, you have to hope so because Big 40.
Yeah.
Big series. and huge fan base. So I would have to imagine there's more Metroid in the pipe. I just have no idea what or when.
Yeah, I mean, we're now 4 years removed from Dread, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I believe that was
so
2021.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know. I think it's time. And I don't think the plan was to have Prime 4 be as late as it was. Like, I think when they were planning all this out, Prime 4 would have come out a while ago, you know. But I think, I think Prime or some Metroid is coming next year, a 2D specifically. And I don't think we're getting 2 or 3 remastered, Prime 2 or 3 remastered anytime soon.
No?
Not this coming year. I don't know. I think if they were even close to ready, they would have come out before 4 did.
Okay. I mean, you're probably right. That feels right. I don't know why it does, but it does.
It'd be great. I would buy them. I would play them if they came out next year, but I don't think that's what they're looking at right now.
Yeah.
So, okay. What else you got for us?
Well, I want to move in this direction because I feel like we're both just dancing around it right now.
Okay.
I'm connecting the dots because the first, you let me know that, we might have some items of the same. So I'm like, what does Zach think that I'm going to think about? And then we talk about the 3DS and you're like, I'm going to say one of those things for later.
Oh, no, no, don't do it. Don't will this into existence.
So
come on.
I feel like they made a Lego set of it too.
Oh, that one's fine. Yeah, that one's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not Link Between Worlds, so that's fine.
Oh, wait. Whoa. Are you talking about Link Between Worlds right now?
That's where I thought you were going.
Oh my God. No,
I don't want that. Well, maybe I do. If it looked nice, I might like it, but
listen, I'm not a hater of a Link Between Worlds. I liked a Link Between Worlds. But I don't think I'd be brokenhearted if it sat away on the 3DS for a couple more years till we felt like bringing it back. Like, I'm not gonna.
That I hate to derail your prediction. I'm sorry, but that is a game that I do feel like I might enjoy more if it were on Switch. I do think it would change how I feel about that game.
I like that, and if they did that, I'd be all right with it.
Okay,
I like that idea. But I do not think that's what they're going to do. I think that for the better or worse, we're going to see Ocarina of Time again. And I don't know how or why.
Sure.
Or not why. I don't know how.
Why?
I don't know why.
What are you doing here?
I know exactly why.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we're going to see it. And I'm honestly really nervous about it. And I don't know if you feel this way. I'm excited to see it again. I am. Am I thrilled that we're spending all of our time on Ocarina of Time? I hope not. I hope that's not. I kind of want to be wrong. I don't need an Ocarina of Time remake right now. To be frank, I have the Ocarina of Time that I've ever hoped and wanted in Ship of Arcanian. So I don't need that. What I want, though, actually, you know what? Let me finish this one first.
Sure. Yeah.
I just have this feeling we're going to see Ocarina because of the Lego set. Like you said, we're bringing a lot of the 3DS library elsewhere. I just think there's a lot of commotion around Ocarina of Time right now. The movie 2027. Mm-hmm. I think that has something to do with it. But to be honest with you, though, where I was about to kind of head is that I think Ocarina of Time, I think it will happen. I think we will hear about it, but it's not going to be 2026.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's going to be 2027. I think we're going to hear about it late next year, and it will be kind of something that sets the movie up in a way.
Interesting. Okay.
Because the Lego set and all that, we're playing the slow game. It's a slow burn. I think we're going to use it in some way to set the movie up. But what I think we will see next year, do you remember a long time ago we got the little teaser? And it could have been totally fake, whatever. But like the ages and season stuff.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings of that for sure. Yeah.
I have this feeling maybe we're going to see some other kind of Zelda remake. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's A Link to the Past. I don't know if it's ages or seasons. But I have this feeling we're going to see another remake of some kind for The Legend of Zelda. make its way to the Switch. I don't think it's soon enough that we see a mainline Zelda. I don't think we'll see another mainline Zelda till 2027, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe even later than that, actually. 27, 28, maybe? Yeah.
I mean, that'll be 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? 2017, 2023 for Tears? So, yeah, I would say 2027, 2028 for the next big Zelda. And, to be fair, COVID probably impacted the Tears timeline. So, maybe not that long, but I'd say max that long.
Sure.
But no, I have a feeling we're in for another year of remakes. I don't think that when it comes to Bloomberg and Nintendo predicting or asking for all these units to be made, I don't know that it's going to be Zelda moving the consoles, but I think we're going to have a little bit of incentive to have a Zelda.
Helps. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have some help from Zelda, but it's not going to be the next mainline Zelda.
So, okay, I don't want to be a wet blanket on this, right? Because any of those things you suggested, I think are great.
Wind Waker and Twilight Princess?
I don't think we are getting a remake of a 2D Zelda this coming year. Just maybe because last year was Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah.
And that was Grezzo and Zelda's basically been annualized for a long time now. Yeah. And so you look back at the past few years, this year, Hyrule Warriors, the previous year, a 2D Zelda, the year before that, a big 3D Zelda in Tears. And I want to say, when was the Skyward Sword port remaster? Was that 2021 or 22?
21.
Okay. So I think, if anything, we're getting something at that level.
Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, at least.
I mean, I hate predicting that, but that's...
Probably.
I mean, that's kind of it's there, right? It's easy.
It's going to be something like that. I mean, it's going to be something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's going to be something. And I know I was thinking Twilight Princess and Wind Waker too, but I didn't want to make that my... I feel like I've said it so many times.
Sure. I intentionally stayed away from Zelda because I knew you would have some Zelda stuff.
Yeah, but I think you're right. It's probably going to be Wind Waker or Twilight Princess, and I do really hope that it is. But I would love to see Ages or Seasons, or something else, And I'm wondering if we'll explore that, because I feel like Echoes of Wisdom did pretty well. I can't remember the numbers, but I know it did pretty well. People were excited about that.
Yeah. And it was a great game. I loved it.
It's a great game. Link to the Past. Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Did really well. I feel like they're playing with that a little bit and seeing where it can go. And I would love to see them introduce another Zelda title in that style. I would love that.
Yeah. I do think you're onto something though with wanting to build hype for the movie. And, we talked about Metroid's anniversary and Pokemon's anniversary. Zelda's got one too. Yeah. And I think you want to make the most out of that. I have a lot of trouble believing in this big Ocarina of Time remake.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I do. Obviously things like that have happened. We were talking about Final Fantasy VII remake in the last episode, and these kind of dream games do happen. And that could definitely be it. But you did mention the 3DS Ocarina of Time.
That's what I'm worried they're going to do.
Do you think that it's possible that we just get that? And probably eventually Majora's Mask as well.
I don't want the 3DS version of that game. I want it.
I like the version of that game. I do, but you're right. It's not what I want out of this.
No, if we're going if we're rebuilding this thing, I want it rebuilt. I don't want the 3D, what we made to work for a 3DS.
Yep, I agree.
On my Switch, Yeah. Give me something ground up, if we're really going in on this thing. But I did really enjoy the 3D ones, so much so that I wanted to go back and play them on my 3DS, and was surprised at how well those didn't hold up.
Really?
As I thought, yeah. When you go back and look at it, it is not what I remembered.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Anywho, But yeah, so Zelda, I think that's what we're in for. I don't know.
Yeah, I think something Zelda is happening. Yeah. I do think that. I think it'll be a little. I could see it being the ports of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD that we're talking about, but then also that announcement of an Ocarina of Time, something to look forward to. I could kind of see them doing both things.
Yeah.
But okay. So my second prediction is I don't know. Nintendo. What?
No, you. Go ahead.
Nintendo Classics will continue to trickle out, but will add another console in the second half of the year. The Nintendo DS will be announced without a second screen peripheral. These games will be available on both Switch 1 and 2, but will only be playable in handheld mode with different options for the size of the orientation of the screens. The initial games offered will be New Super Mario Bros., WarioWare Touched, and Nintendogs. The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, Brain Age, Mario Kart DS, Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, Kirby Canvas Curse, and Mario and Luigi Partners in Time will be announced as future titles. And I forgot to write it down, but I think this will be part of the basic package of Nintendo Switch Online, not the expansion pass. I know it's not what you want to hear, but it's what I think will happen. I think we're getting Virtual Boy in the beginning of the year, and I think that means we're only getting one other thing. I don't think we're getting like DS and 3DS or DS and Wii next year. Just one.
Okay. I think that's a pretty good prediction. I think that's cool. I wonder though how easy it is for them to do that.
Well, I was looking at how the Wii U did it, and you could definitely play those just on your gamepad.
Yeah.
And I think they could do this. So I think that would be why they would limit it to handheld only. I mean, there's probably some games that could do it docked, but I don't see them wanting to release a big honking screen like that. And even just ergonomically thinking about it, like that's going to add a lot of weight to the Switch, and it's going to be like distributed weird. Like I don't know how comfortable that would really be in practice, right?
I don't know. It is kind of hard to like
it could be cool. It could.
I'm trying to like imagine like.
Yeah, and now you've got another one of those. Like, would the second screen be the same size? Would it be small?
I would have to imagine it'd be the same size. Like we're talking like.
I mean, the DS, the aspect ratio is pretty much square, right? So it doesn't need to be wide like the Switch is. It could just be like a little square.
I don't know, man. I think we're in for the second screen.
No, I mean, I hope so. That would be the ideal way to do it. But I feel like Nintendo's not going to do it.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like that's the gambit really, because I think it's crazy, but like I can see you being so right. And I can also seeing the screen happen. Like they're so good at being unpredictable, to be honest with you, because they surprise us. And then other times they're super cold. And I think personally, so I was saving this piece, but your segues perfectly into it. Okay. Better hardware is on my list.
Okay.
And some examples of that. I think we're finally going to see some Joy-Con 2 variants. I think we're going to see new Pro controllers. I think, more third-party support. I mentioned like the Nitro deck, obviously. And then the bigger thing is the introduced camera and mic. Okay. I think we're going to start seeing more stuff with that, especially like, we were talking last week, eye roll about, what's that game? Fano, the ghost game.
Why am I blanking too?
I know. Why am I blanking right now? It's on our thing. Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
Games like that kind of, rearing their head on the Switch that have prox chat and things like that. I think we're in need of getting the folks who aren't on PC but now have a device that supports a camera and microphone. They want some better stuff in their space. So we're going to start marketing towards those people,
Okay.
who aren't at a desk and don't have a giant boom arm. You know what I mean? Like, so I think we're going to start seeing support in those ways. And where I'm moving this into is some strange Switch 2 stuff, like a second screen or whatever, however we want to use that other USB-C port, which probably is just for a camera. But,
I mean, building a camera into a second screen really isn't a bad Trojan horse for, because there are, DS and 3DS games that make use of that and features. And I don't know. I want the second screen thing to happen. I do, but I don't see it.
I mean, that's kind of where I was saying earlier. So like some of the other rumors for Pokemon were black and white.
I mean, that's next in line, right? We got Gen 4 with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but I don't know. For some reason, too, that doesn't feel like the time is right. I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't really know. But I just feel like that second screen in the classics, like I can see it.
Okay.
And like maybe it's what you're talking about. Maybe it comes out and it's just the single screen for the regular subscription, but then on your Plus subscription or whatever, they're like, oh, and there's this screen like the dumb Virtual Boy that you can plug in.
Got it. It's coming in February. But thing to keep in mind with that is that is just the headset. It's not the controller.
Yeah,
which is kind of a bummer when I realized that initially. I don't know. Who knows how they'll handle this? I think they have a little more reverence for the DS than they do the Virtual Boy, so hopefully they'll put a little more thought into that.
Would you agree though that we got to cross this rainbow bridge at some point?
Yeah, I mean, because I don't have a prediction for it because I certainly don't think it'll be this year, but like, if you're looking at DS, you're probably also looking at 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so it's like, if you put out that screen, do you future-proof it immediately? Does that screen have 3D? Does it have eye tracking? Does it have the camera?
Not. Leave the 3D out.
Or do they try to sell me a second screen?
Dude,
2 years from now.
if they go 3DS, we're doing too much. We're doing a lot.
That would be the only argument, I think, if they were to do both consoles at the same time, is if it's one screen that does all the things.
If they bring any 3DS titles back, they will just be 2D. They will not be.
I mean, they should be. Yeah, we don't really need
no way. Yeah. They're gonna be like, which I understand is super weird to say. Like for 3DS to hit classics, they're like, and now Nintendo 3DS titles only in 2D.
Well, I mean, at the end of that thing's life, the 2DS was, a main pillar of it, right?
The 2DS,
and there was a new 2DS.
Just the fact that it's the 2DS is so funny because it's like.
The first time I heard that, I was like, that's insane. That's just a little weird doorstop thing. It's got a stupid name to it.
I love it.
Okay, so is the better hardware, is that one of your predictions?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, then I will do a third one here. A number of high-profile ports will be announced for Switch 2. From this past year, 2025, we'll hear about Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and Doom the Dark Ages. We'll also see several titles from the past decade that have skipped the Switch. I believe they will include Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order from EA, Red Dead Redemption 2 from Rockstar, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and a Far Cry from Ubisoft. I don't know which one. And Control from Remedy, which I think has a cloud version on Switch, but it'd be nice to have a real, full fat Control on Switch too. In addition, at least 2 of Xbox's new, so games that aren't out yet, first-party titles will be announced for Switch 2 at their summer showcase. I think we're getting some high-profile Switch ports.
I think so. I think you're right because
and I'm calling my shot. These are the ones I think. I only get points if it's these.
Okay, I think the Far Cry one definitely. Far Cry 6 probably.
See, I think they might go older. I think they might do 3.
Oh, come on! Why?
3's really good, and 3's the one that they want to keep putting out on everything.
No, give me Los Pollos Hermanos, Far Cry 6.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, and it's a fine game, and it's the most recent one.
I like 5. 5 was my favorite.
I love 5. 5 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's the most popular opinion, but yeah, 5 is my favorite easily. Yeah.
Dude, man, I could talk about that. Anyway,
I just think we've seen a lot of big games already make the jump, like Hogwarts Legacy and Final Fantasy 7 and Resident Evil 7 and 8 and 9 now. Like, yeah, I think some of these will definitely, they need to be there.
The new Requiem though, I feel like because they were late to the party on the other Resident Evils. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like they were when the 4 remake, they were like, we can play Biohazard on Switch. You know, like we played that like 5-6 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Requiem, they were like, the new one's here. It's here on launch. Yeah. You could do it. Like they're hype about it. I feel like they're trying to keep up and they want to keep up. So I feel like they're really trying to make it a point. The Red Dead thing was interesting because it's like we were talking about that the other week. You're like, I thought it'd be 2, but
that's been the rumor, and then it was 1. So I think 2 is still coming. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 will eventually be on Switch 2 as well, but that I didn't put that here because where does that intersect with GTA 6? I don't know. So I kind of feel like they want some separation of church and state here with, we'll put GTA 6 out in the spring and we'll put Red Dead 2 on the Switch, some other time.
Yeah. But no, that's good. I think you're right. Definitely more support in the future. And I think for the, I don't know if I want to say for the first time, but for the first time in a long time, Nintendo's going to try to keep up, I think, with actual releases.
Yeah. I looked at some games from next year that I think might end up launching like day and date on Switch 2. Like Pragmata was announced at the Game Awards that it's going to be doing that. It wasn't originally announced for that. But there really aren't too many that I think that's going to apply to, at least that are announced now. Maybe we'll get some, early in the year that's the case. But yeah, I don't know. What is your next prediction?
So my next 2 are pretty big, and they're a little more vague, and I kept them separate. So I think my next 2, like I said, kind of huge. But we'll go with 3D, the next 3D Mario. I think we're going to see that this year.
Okay.
I think the next 3D Mario is happening. I think we're overdue for it. And I don't know when we're going to hear about it, but we are absolutely going to hear about it. The latest March 10th.
Yeah, so they've got their early year direct, January, February, that they always do. Mario Day is, I don't know that they've ever announced something that big on Mario Day. That's kind of my only pause there. Yeah. And then, their summer event is kind of where this thing could show up. It's only a small part of one of my predictions, but I believe we will not see a 3D Mario this year.
I think we're going to see it, and I think it's going to be another very summery Mario.
Okay. Does it come out in 2026?
Yes.
Okay. What is it called?
I have no idea. Super Mario Summer Bonanza. Who knows?
Okay. That's something. That's
Super Mario Summertime Sun Splash Extravaganza.
All the mock-ups people always do online when they make up shit is Super Mario Journey. That's it. Do you ever see that logo that someone made at some point?
It has like the arrow?
I think so, yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. Odyssey is a cool title, and I don't know where you go from Odyssey. That's what it's not Journey though.
Well, they could go Super Mario Space Odyssey, which would really fit their
Oh my god.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Is there any possibility it's a Galaxy 3?
There is definitely that possibility. Please don't.
I think with the movie synergy, I think.
I know. You're probably right. And I hate it. I don't want to do it. But you could be right. I don't know. You could be right. I just have this feeling that it's Nintendo the last couple of years loves teasing us every summer with something that's very it's like touching sunshine, And we're like, what are you doing, Nintendo? And I just, regardless of what it is, if it's Odyssey 3 or whatever, this is the year I think we're going to see it. and I think we're going to hear about it either, like you said, in the February Direct, or we will hear about it on Mario Day. I think.
I think the full reveal would come in the summer, but I think they will tease it at one of those two things. I think if it doesn't happen at either of those, it's not happening this year.
I can see latest release August.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think, because it's weird, right? Because like we didn't know about any Switch 2 titles until a good way into the year this year.
Yeah.
So like thinking about how like we didn't know about Bonanza, and then 3 months later it was out. Like,
yeah,
they could definitely do something like that. But yeah, I think if anything, we'll get a tease. What kind of gimmick do you think we'll do this time? We've done the possessing people with your hat. We've done water gun. We've done space.
The thing. I don't even know that I could take an accurate stab at it. And to be honest with you, I'm wondering. I don't know that I believe wholeheartedly in this prediction. It's more of a gut feeling.
Okay.
But there's been a lot of talk on things that I've read where like Odyssey was the closest thing to this in a long time. So we had Flood, which we knew added to our ability of, how we can get around a little bit more easily. Okay. But I mean, people always talk about Sunshine and how they loved those levels where Flood was taken away from you and you had to kind of rely back on the older style. I'm wondering if we're going to get something that's a little bit closer to the Mario roots with 3D. And the reason I'm wondering that is because all the movies, and we're kind of, I don't want to say we're like still bringing another generation into Mario, but I do feel much in the way that when the first Mario movie came out, we had younger kids, and I feel like people are starting to grow up with it now a little bit, and I think we want to get a little bit more advanced, maybe. I don't know if that's the right way to think about it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if we're going to kind of go back to the Mario 64 style Mario game route and kind of build ourselves from there without something super crazy like the Galaxy stuff happening or the Odyssey hat stuff. Like I just think we're going in a different direction with it. Okay.
I mean, I would love for that to be true.
Yeah.
I would. Don't know if it's going to happen. But
probably not. I don't think so.
I'm going to go in a very different direction with my fourth prediction here. Call of Duty will return to Nintendo platforms for the first time since Ghosts in 2013. It will not be the next mainline Call of Duty, but will instead be a version of the free-to-play Warzone Battle Royale. It will be cross-play and cross-progression with full microtransactions. It won't be well optimized and will be generally disliked by the community. They, when they were trying to make that Activision Xbox deal happen, that was one of the promises they made. They signed a 10-year agreement with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to their platforms. That obviously didn't happen with Black Ops 7. What one just came out?
7. Yeah.
Yeah. So that didn't happen. And the more I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, they're not gonna bother trying to put another Modern Warfare or Black Ops on that thing. They just want you to buy. I saw they're bringing Fallout skins to Warzone, so they want you to buy that stuff. Cheech and Chong and Nicki Minaj. Like that's what they want. They want your money.
Nicki Minaj.
So, oh my God. I think we'll get Call of Duty for the first time in a long time on Nintendo, and I don't think we'll like it.
Okay,
Which is a bummer because they were actually really good on the Wii and Wii U. Not the most ideal way to play it, but they were pretty quality ports of those games.
Dude, that's fine. Give me the Switch crowd so I can crush them. I need it. I need it for me.
Well, I mean, every other version of Warzone is cross-play, but like forced. And so if you're playing on your Switch and you're playing against people on PC, and
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're gonna. Oh, you want to be on the other side? I see.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I need some. Okay. I need some. Somebody easier than me.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, look for Call of Duty Warzone next year. That's what I think is going to happen. All right. This is your fifth one, correct? Your last one.
Yes, my last one. It's a big one.
Okay.
Are we going to see a new Smash Bros?
No. No, I think we see a Switch 2 edition of Smash Bros. Ultimate is what I think.
No, come on.
But tell me what you think is going to happen here. So
I don't really know where to go with this because I fell off Smash Bros. But like, and it may not be Smash Bros. I don't know. I just know, like, because you would say Smash Bros. Is among the larger titles of Switch, right?
Yeah.
So we got Smash Bros. We got Zelda. We have Mario Kart. There is. Would you say Splatoon is in that same ballpark or?
Sales wise, no, but I think the way Nintendo positions it, it's one of their main pillars right now.
I think maybe it's Splatoon. I don't know. We're gonna see one of those heavy hitters. We're gonna get an announcement for one of those heavy hitters, and like maybe that's the 3D Mario. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to say I want to put my eggs in 3D Mario's basket. That's why I mentioned that separately. But either way, we're going to get one of the mainline titles. And because Pokemon tends to kind of release in tandem with something, typically.
Yeah.
I don't really know why that is, but it kind of is that way. So, like,
it's because Nintendo doesn't fully control it.
Right.
So it's kind of like they're involved, but they're not in charge of it.
It's almost like that perfect sidekick to release.
Yeah.
To like bring that extra oomph to another heavy hitter. And I just think that with what we were talking about, with the amount of Switches they're trying to push out by end of Q1, I think we've got to have that stars alignment of these two heavy hitters. And I'm not saying they're going to be released right away. I think we'll have to wait, but I think we're going to get that announcement and it's going to push those sales. I think I would bet those are my big bets for 2026 is two heavy hitters releasing same year, but announced earlier in the year and have those consoles there to be pushed in anticipation.
I do want to remind you, we do know about Splatoon Raiders, single player Splatoon.
Yeah.
Which I think could be interesting, but I don't think that is gonna get the attention you're talking about.
Right.
And then I'm not gonna use this prediction, so I'll kind of pick at it here. I do think, we'll get release dates and more details on Fire Emblem and Duskbloods for next year. But that is a very different crowd than what you're talking about. You need a family-friendly, big hit game. And I don't necessarily know what that is. I mean, Mario would fit. Mario would be perfect for that. So, I don't know. I have no idea. I wrote that I think we'll see a Bayonetta 4, which will not come out next year.
No.
But they'll announce it. A Kirby Planet Robobot remake.
Oh, come on.
They want it. That's been rumored forever. A follow-up to Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh.
And a tease of either F-Zero or Star Fox.
Okay.
I lean towards Star Fox because I think Kirby Air Riders kind of killed any hope that we'll get a new F-Zero anytime soon.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because F-Zero 99 is really good. But that is not my prediction. That's just kind of extra announcement stuff I had. But it is interesting that the way you frame that one, because my last prediction, the mid or post-credits scene of the Super Mario Galaxy movie will, of course, tease the next Nintendo film from Illumination. However, the next title is not a Super Mario Bros. Movie. We will see Kirby arrive in the Mushroom Kingdom carrying a letter with the Super Smash Bros. Insignia on it, confirming the next film will be a huge crossover event. Nintendo will not confirm any other characters in 2026.
Wow.
I think it's happening. I think we're jumping from Galaxy to Smash Brothers.
That is really crazy. And there's a huge chance that you're right about that, though. And because it's going to happen, right? It has to happen.
Well, I really had to think about, okay, like who would we see? Like what would confirm that? And I don't think it's Link because we're getting that live action Zelda, and I think they want to make sure we know that's separate.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's Link. I think if you're doing a Smash Brothers movie, you got to involve Sakurai. And who's Sakurai's baby? It's Kirby.
Yeah. I wish they would have done animated Zelda, to be honest with you.
Well, and I think if this happens, I think we'll get Link in that movie. It'll be a different Link. But I think there's no way you do a Smash Brothers movie without Zelda.
How the hell are you going to get real Link in a fake people universe?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You won't. You'll let that Zelda be its own thing, and you'll do an animated Link in this movie.
Ooh, man, see, we're gonna be opening up the Nintendo CU, the NCU.
Yeah, and I don't think they want to, and I don't think all these characters have the clout to do individual movies, Marvel style, right? Some do.
Yeah.
You could do a Zelda movie. You could probably do a Kirby movie, maybe, but like you can't do a Star Fox and a Metroid and you can't.
Metroid? You could do a Metroid movie.
An animated movie for kids?
Dude, I think you could. I really think you could.
I think Samus as a character, like a dark, brooding character in a movie like this, makes sense. I don't think a dark, alien-inspired,
how about
scary animated movie for children is the way to go.
I don't know how this translates, but I feel like Samus would get a Netflix series.
Sure. Amazon Prime.
But I feel like I feel like Samus, Metroid could get some kind of movie spin-off. I really think that. I think, and it could be engaging. I think Metroid honestly needs something like that. Because
I would love a live action Metroid in the way that we're talking about Zelda. I think,
and I think if you pick any franchise, any Nintendo franchise like that Metroid is the pick. Like, because you need it. Honestly, the series, when we're talking popularity, I think Metroid kind of takes. I'm not going to say like they're not bottom of the barrel by any means, but like they're definitely not as high up there as some of the other ones. And I think Metroid, a movie, is exactly how you can bring it back and maybe recenter it. You know what I mean?
At this point, I mean, you say a game is a Metroidvania or something, and some people hear that and they go, cool. Other people hear that and go, oh, I'm not touching that. Like, that's daunting, right? So you're right. Maybe putting her in some other sort of medium is the way to do it.
But to your point though, about Smash being the next piece, I think you're onto it, and I think that delivery is pretty likely. I feel like that's a good prediction.
Well, and I think because it's so weird that we go from Mario Brothers to Galaxy. There's no
where to go.
I think people thought World was next, and then who knows, but I think it's Galaxy and then Smash Brothers. And then, they can do another Mario movie after that. They can do a Super Mario Brothers 3, which I guarantee is what they'll call that, because they'll want that branding.
Which would be incredible.
But what kind of inspired this is the Sonic franchise announced that they have I forget how they worded it, but it was really funny. It was like a Sonic Universe event film. So it's like, it's not Sonic 5. It's just like, it's something to do with Sonic, probably Shadow, but they don't want to say what it is yet.
Yeah. And
I think Nintendo just has so many characters that like, it's a great way to introduce them. And then, you watch and you see what kind of merch are kids buying, who do people latch onto? And then you maybe decide to greenlight a Splatoon movie and a, Pikmin movie and all that stuff.
Big.
Yeah, but that was my big one. I wanted to save that one for last because I don't know. I think it could happen.
I think so.
Did you have any honorable mentions you wanted to run through, or just kind of?
Honestly, not really. I pretty much I had my gun loaded, and that's what I have.
Okay, I like it. I think we've got some good stuff here.
I think so too.
If all these things were to happen, I think we'll have a very good 2026.
Crazy year. Yeah.
An absolutely insane year. Hopefully they happen. And you out there listening, watching, you are welcome to let us know what you think is going to happen to Nintendo and the rest of the world in 2026. Let us know in the comments. Just anything you think will happen in the next calendar year. We would love to read it. But until then, we're gonna take some time here for the holidays, play some games, see our families, that kind of stuff, and we'll be back with you in the new year for some 2025 in review, some game of the year, some exciting stuff like that. We're gonna break all that down, but we will see you in 2026. Until then, I'm Zachary Davis. That's Jordan Carlson. Goodbye.
Bye.